I think this is a big thing because if your design is not ready for automation, it's made for like purely hand or manual processes, it's really hard to automate it.
Yeah, I would almost say probably one of the easier and lower hanging fruits would be data capture. Grabbing data off running processes most of the time is not going to affect the actual process, so it's not very invasive. But we can basically start or kickstart the data extraction phase pretty early on to just start to gather data and get a better understanding of what's happening with our process.
I'll probably add to this, I think it's also like really important that you think about, is your design even ready for automation? I think this is a big thing because if your design is not ready for automation, it's made for like purely hand or manual processes, it's really hard to automate it. So really think about it early on, like in your product development phase. Let's take, for example, if you take a composite part, which is just that small or something, I mean, does it really make sense to automate that process? But if you have like maybe a huge 8 feet or 10 feet like structure part, then you definitely should think about using automated processes. And this is where we can help a lot also with our integrator network and OEM network. I think first of all, probably the connectivity topic is the first thing I would say. So if you look at all your machine tools, all your processes and things like that, I mean, you need to leverage and connect them into like an upper system. So how do we get the data out of that? And then probably also like you need to figure out, okay, you need to have a common data structure out of these processes. You don't want to have different like gateways or things like that in different formats. This needs to be like streamlined over your entire like manufacturing process, I would say. So I would say, especially if you take quality or topics like that, or your design. So if you have a design at the beginning, like define and whatnot, you want to make sure that this design also will be produced exactly in the right quality with the right tolerances and all that stuff down on the shop floor. But how do you do that? I mean, if you're done with the product at the end of the day, you also want to feed that back into your design phase. So again, you have like different disciplines involved in that process. And there's a disconnect in between. So if you have the data availability with the data available, which you have available in the design phase, and you have the same data available on the shop floor itself, and also the other way around, I think you can really leverage that to make improvements and to make sure that you have the right quality at the end of the day.
I would totally agree. I think at the end of the day, data integrity is so crucial. That's why it's very important to have a solid architecture from the beginning and really follow that path through, because we're not just interested in data streaming downstream, but also back upstream, feeding that so we can make educated, design decisions and decisions.